Yeah. How long has it been? Don't know. Pickups video. Of course. Got a lot of shit. Actually, a lot of this I had before I uploaded the last one. It's just, I don't know. The last one took so long to upload that I ended up accruing a load of extra stuff. And if I'd added it to the original, the last video, it would have been just sort of like mountainous. So, yeah, got lots of stuff, a lot of good stuff. Mostly charity shops, but that's not to say that the best stuff is not from charity shops, but that's not to say that there isn't some good stuff from charity shops, because there is. But yeah, so I don't often drink alcohol while I'm making a video, but I'm self-medicating. I'm self-medicating by using up all of my leftover Christmas booze. I'm starting with the good stuff and making my way up to the bad stuff. This is the first one I'm having. It's awful. It's dark in it. Yeah, I've actually got the curtains open. I don't know if you can see in the back. See the reflection in the back behind me there. I've got the curtains open. That's how dark it is. It's only like 2:30. Awful. I've had to open all the curtains, so this is going to be like really grainy and juddery. So, oh well, you know. Quality control has never been my strong suit. I've had a bit of shave as well. Yeah, Sake Lager. Iron Maiden Sake Lager, no less. From Asda. This is on offer before Christmas, 66p a bottle. And that tells you everything. It's awful. It's horrible stuff. I only bought 2 bottles. And the first one I drank, well, over a month ago now. It's taken me a month to drink the second one because it's horrible. And the other one I'm going to have, if I get through this one, is Brentwood Best. Every Christmas I get a 4-pack of Brentwood brewed ales from my sister because she lives in Brentwood in Essex, and uniformly they're awful. They're all a bit of nothing, a bit of watery. And then I come to the conclusion that Essex doesn't do beer well. Anyway. Well, Brentwood doesn't anyway. It's horrible. Actually, one of them was alright. One of them was like a weird, like spicy Christmas thing, and it tasted a bit like a stout. That was alright, vaguely, but it didn't. It wasn't like a nice stout. It was just a sort of stout. Anyway. Yeah, charity shops. I don't know what I'm saying. Charity shops. Actually, no. Yeah, I did. There's one story out from a charity shop. I going back last week. Hang on. Sorry about that. I wasn't sure that I'd made sure the sound input was my Guitar Hero mic, but it is, luckily. So I shat my pants for 5 seconds there, but otherwise, notice how bobbly my cardigan is. I love this cardigan, but it's bobbly as fuck. It's not bad. I got it from my sister for Christmas a few years ago, and I really like it. But it's so bobbly now that I don't like going out in it because it's really bobbly. I don't know why that would stop anyone going out in anything. Bobbliness, but I'm even seriously investing in one of those de-bobbler things. They're almost like shavers. I'd probably do it with a shaver. I could shave my cardigan. But you can actually get dedicated de-bobblers, and they're about 15 quid. And I don't think it'd do fuck. It'd do fuck all. But I like this cardigan that much that I'm tempted to waste 15 quid on a de-bobbler. Anyway, yeah, going back, this is the charity shop story. I've been in a few. Generally, because I still don't want to go on buses and stuff. Got a story about a bus. Don't want to go on buses and stuff. So generally, anytime I go to charity shops, it's the same route. I do the same route. So I'm going to have some of my Sake Lager. Yeah, it's the same route, so I generally go to the same ones. So I'm seeing the same stuff over and over and over again. But anyway, I was in a charity shop last week, and they had a bit of a move around, and I found where their DVDs and stuff were, and they were sort of down low with the CDs. They'd moved them, but there was a bloke already there. It's fine, you know. It's first come, first have a go, served, whatever. and he was crouched down looking at CDs, picking through them. So I just sort of stood to the side. There's a little gap. So I wasn't gonna crowd him. But then he moved away. So I can move in. Then he came back, and then he sort of crowded me. He sort of went back to where he was, the same spot, and it irritated me because I get quite territorial in charity shops. I do. I had an argument with an old lady a couple of years ago because I made the mistake of looking at a DVD on top of a pile that she created because she'd created loads of different piles. She'd been there for apparently about half an hour creating piles of DVDs, and I deigned to pick one off the top, and she went, that's mine, sort of thing. So anyway, yeah. So then this bloke comes and sort of crowds me again, sort of back to where he was. That annoyed me, but But then I realised he was picking at the price label, and what he'd done, when he'd gone away, he'd gone and got a 50p children's book, and he was trying to take that price label off and put it on a £1 CD. He didn't want to pay £1 for a CD. He just wanted to pay 50p. It really irritated me. I looked down at him and eyeballed him, and he eyeballed me, and for about 5 seconds we were eyeballing each other. And no, it wasn't anything I wanted, so I left. As I left, I went to the two old ladies behind the counter. I went, I think that bloke's swapping your price labels, and then I left. I'm not cool. I'm not a cool person. That's not that's not the behaviour of someone who's sort of like outside the law. A little bit edgy. I just thought, fuck you crowding me, swapping your price labels. I'm going to shop you. So I shopped him. And as I was leaving, I heard the old lady, and they went, oh, really? And they went over to him. Those are £1. And they went, they're £1? And basically, he'd still got this CD with 2 price labels on it. He'd already stuck it on. He hadn't had a chance to take the £1 off. So, screw you, shady arsehole. So, yeah. And the other story was, what was the other story? Oh, I was on a bus. I went on a bus. I risked going on a bus because buses feel like mobile disease propagators at the moment, And I had my mask on. I'd opened the window above my head. This bloke gets on without a mask, walks past me down the aisle, sits behind me, two seats behind me, and proceeds to stand up and close the window above my head. So I stood up, opened it again, turned around and said, that stays open if you're not wearing a mask, and then sat back down again. And he went, oh, all right. And then that was it. So, Right. Stuff. Not a charity shop purchase. This is something I've wanted for a good few years now. It's a book. It's a comic book. It's an anthology. I call it an anthology. It's... I've wanted them for a long time, but they're always sort of like a little bit expensive. They're sort of like, I think they're upwards of 30 quid. I didn't want to pay that. And then they came down, I think Amazon had them for about 28, 25, I don't know, and I was sort of erring, almost going towards that. But then someone on eBay had them for 14 quid. I thought, fuck that, I'm having one, so I nabbed one. And they didn't hang around for long because obviously sort of everyone knows that they generally go for more than that. So it's the Meta Barons. It's a big chunky book anthology of. I think it's part 1. I'm a bit confused about how many different parts there are. It's Jodorowsky and Jimenez, a spin-off from the Incal, which I love. Incal is also by Jodorowsky, but artwork by Mobius, which I read a few years ago. Really like that. And the Meta Baron is a character in the Incal. He's meant to be the greatest warrior in the universe, but he's also a bit of a buffoon, a bit of a comedy character. And so I thought it's an interesting sort of. I just generally love that universe, and so I thought, and I thought I'd have a go at this, and I quite like the idea that he's meant to be the greatest warrior in the universe. He's also a bit hapless, bit of a, bit clumsy. So and that's him there. That's the Meta Baron. I think they succeed each other. I think the original Meta Baron has to succeed the other Meta Baron by, I can't remember how it happens. I don't know if it's like combat. I don't know, but anyway, yeah. This is by Jimenez, and I just want to show you. Well, that's the picture on the back, and that's the picture on the front. So it's like quality stuff. So there you go. Right, films. I've got another book, but that's game related, so that comes later with the games. Films. All charity shops. This first one, I actually bought it with 2 other Blu-rays. It's a sealed Blu-ray. They're all sealed, but those other 2 have since been traded in. I thought I'd show you this as a sort of like a token. It's called So Dark the Nights. Apparently, it's a noir from don't know what year it was made. But there's a contemporary, made by a guy called Joseph H. Lewis, contemporary of Howard Hawks and Billy Wilder. So it's I don't really know it, but it sounded like something I'd be interested in because I do like cinema noir, or all that jazz. But I bought it with 2 other Blu-rays. One of them was called Chow Manhattan, which is apparently about a muse of Andy Warhol, and the other one, which probably would have been more interested in, is a film called what was it called? The Intergalactic Adventures of Max Cloud, and it looked fucking awful. So I left it originally. I ended up looking it up to discover that it was definitely worth having, and ended up trading it in for good credit because it was only £1. Because obviously that was £1. So it was an Arrow release as well, so that's always going to be interesting. That won't get me any credit at all, but I was going to keep anyway. Yeah. The Chow Manhattan was about £5 in credit, but Intergalactic Adventures of Max Cloud, I put a picture up, was about £8, I think. But it looked awful. I looked up the trailers and I thought, this is awful. Do I really want it? But then, credit-wise, yeah, dead. And it might have been, I couldn't quite work out it was so bad it's good sort of thing. I think it's just bad. And it was, I think the lead actor in it was a guy called Scott Adkins, who's just basically a martial arts actor. And he was in Universal Soldier 4. But he can do his, to be fair, he's good at what he does. But I don't know, as far as acting, I'm not sure. But this Intergalactic Adventures of Max Cloud is all sort of video game themed, and the front cover was made to look like a Mega Drive case. So I thought that was interesting. So as you can see, I would have put up a picture by now, but that came with that anyway. Right, so I'm basically telling you about a game, a Blu-ray I haven't got anymore, so I traded it in. That was it, yeah. I ended up trading it in I tried the old sending stuff off to Computer Exchange, boxing it all up and sending it off. And I thought it would be make it sort of stress-free, but actually it made it stressful. I ended up, I think I took shipped about 160 quid worth of stuff in, and they ended up giving me 110 and then shipping 50, 60 quid worth back. So fuck off, you arseholes. They were really strict about scratches on discs. I'm sure some of them were fine, but apparently just a few scratches on discs isn't good for the people who look them over. But anyway, yeah. I won't do that again. I'll have to go into the store. Right, another Blu-ray. 100% sure I've got this. It's a film I've already seen. Don't get me wrong, it's a astounding piece of work, but it's one of those films you watch once and you probably won't watch again for obvious reasons. But it was in a charity shop and it was sealed in the Blu-ray. It's called Son of Saul. I don't know if anyone's seen this. It's absolutely horrific. It's about a man who's one of the concentration camps during the Second World War. He's a Jewish man, and his son's died, and he's looking for a rabbi to be able to give his son a proper burial. So it's not fun, but it's not quite as difficult to watch as I imagined it would be. It's one of those ones where its reputation precedes it. But don't get me wrong, it's awful. It's an awful experience, but worthy. But again, not a film I'd necessarily watch twice. So in that way, I can't understand. Don't really know why I actually bought the Blu-ray. It was £1.50, but still. But one to keep and never watch again. Anyway, right. Going on a theme from I think it's my last pickups video. I bought something called a screener. I've got another one. Probably more of a film that I would actually like to watch, because I think that one was one of the Hobbit films. I think it was the last Hobbit film. This one is called The Assassin, a martial arts film, really good. I've seen this on Amazon, I think. Actually, I think I fell asleep at one point watching it, because it was late. I'm at that age where I fall asleep a lot more easily than I used to. But I thought I'd show you this. I think it was 50p. Was it? No, £1. There you go. £1. I thought I'd show you this. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, because it's that thing. There's legalities about it. They're given to specific people, and it says on the back, these secure screeners are on loan for viewing by you, the member. It's about the voting process for awards. Discs include anti-piracy software. Do not duplicate or publicly perform them. Do not loan, rent, sell, or give them away. Unauthorised use will be prosecuted. Ooh, so what will happen if I try and watch it? Probably nothing. It's probably sort of like a use by date. It's probably it's probably after that it's sort of been on general release. Maybe that software becomes redundant. I don't know. Another Blu-ray. This was 50p. It's a bit of a punt of music Blu-ray. It's what's it called? Dub No Bass with My Head Man. Yeah, Dub No Bass with My Head Man by Underworld. It's 9 tracks, 9 Underworld tracks. I don't know. It's just audio. It's weird. Ultra high quality sound. It's got a download. Yeah. Anyway, it's this is about 25 quid on eBay, I think. Probably lower than that, because that always works out the way. You check the price, and when you say, "Oh, it's worth this much" in a video, you can check it later, and the price has dropped. But anyway, for 50p, CEX don't take it, but this is a keeper anyway. So yeah, Blu-ray of Underworld tracks. So keep on the lookout for that. I think music generally, often music Blu-rays and DVDs and Blu-rays pique my interest, because often they're worth having. But right, 5 here. Actually, I think they're all £1. It's got had a bit of a score in a charity shop. Really top quality range of films. Bit of a shit moment, because there was a part in this one charity shop. That's the thing. It's a charity shop. It's one separate from anything else, in an area, quite a middle class area, just basically houses around it. I always say those are the best ones to go to, because there's no other shops, no other charity shops, just houses generally in the area. So anybody who lives in that area is automatically going to go to that charity shop to donate stuff if they ever want to donate to charity. So often, like my one up the road isn't not particularly middle class around here, but it's not, it's getting there. So that always has some good stuff. Often has good stuff. And this other one's more middle class area, and so again they often have good stuff. They've had piles of SNES games in the past, and not that long ago they had piles of Master System games, but they always price them individually, so I don't really get them. But as a rule, they're well priced. And this time, all their Blu-rays weren't priced individually, so I think often they would, but these ones aren't. I think they're all generally the same price. They're all good. They're all keepers, none traders. First one, film I saw in the cinema years ago, Leon Special Edition, don't know what that means, but it's not a film I've got. A film I have got, but I haven't got this version. And I'm firmly in the camp of people who think a few seconds added to a film can make all the difference. It's the Watchmen Ultimate Cut, I have no idea what makes this the ultimate cut. I've got the director's cut, I think, and I do really like the Watchmen anyway. The Last Picture Show by a guy called Peter Bogdanovich, who passed away not that long ago, last month I think. Just not long after I bought this. It's The Last Picture Show, Blu-ray, for £1, coming of age film. I think Oscar nominated, might have even won Oscars. I forgot who was in it. I can't see, there's a price label. It's got Sybil Shepherd in it, so it's round about the late 70s, I think. So, but black and white. So Last Picture Show. And a couple of John Carpenter's here. The Fog, see, again £1, which is a bit of a no-brainer. I don't have The Fog, but from that era of John Carpenter where he couldn't make a bad film. And even better, I think one of these is probably a bad film, but I don't think it's a John Carpenter. It's the Thing 2-movie box set. Is the other one? I'm guessing the other. Oh yeah. The 2011 prequel. I'm guessing, was that a John Carpenter as well? I'm guessing it wasn't, because otherwise it probably would have had John Carpenter on the box. But the first one's worth having, and this is a decent trader, but it's not going to be a trade. It's a keeper. So yeah, I'm going to move these out of the way because there's stuff in the way. So not a bad little bundle there. Right, onto the game stuff. Let's have a drink of my lovely again, vast majority is charity shops. There's a charity shop near me. It's what is it? It's a Red Cross bookshop, and as a rule, no, they're really good. They're always worth going into. But books-wise, can't really be faulted. But they because they operate slightly different from other charity shops, they do tend to individually price stuff. But I'm not going to hold that against them. And they're generally reasonable. Sometimes prices, they underprice stuff, but at the same time, the prices themselves are still high. This time, I think it's generally a really good price. It's a guide for a PS1 game, definitely worth having. It's an unofficial guide, Prima to Alundra, awful front cover. As a rule, not a brilliant guide. It's just sort of text and muddy pictures and stuff, but still definitely worth having. I think it was a £4. See, there you go, look, £4. So it's not like a sort of standard sort of charity shop sort of £1 job. They also have, what else have they got? They've got Final Fantasy 3 for the DS guide for £5. That's been there a month or so. And they've also got, this one's better, they've got an official, it's maybe a but. They've got an official Final Fantasy 8 guide, and I've got 9 and 7. So I wouldn't mind 8, but they're asking £12.50 for it. So that's a little bit, £12.50. But it's definitely worth it, because that's upwards 15, 20 quid. But still, £12.50. That's for someone who's really in the market for that. That's just, for me, it would be more of an impulse buy. But, I'm hoping one day they'll put the price down, but I don't think they're gonna. But anyway, or either that, or I'm feeling a bit more thrifty. No, thrifty, the opposite of thrifty, whatever that is. Yeah. So, right. Onto the actual game. Well, this isn't a game. This is game stuff. I treated myself after Christmas. I wanted one of these for ages. I've got a SNES GameCube version, which is a bit of a clue from the last year, I think. This is an RGC, Retro Gaming Cables, Mega Drive 2, Pack-a-Punch Pro, SCART, RGB SCART. And it does the job. It really does the job. It makes things look great. Makes things usable, playable on sort of flat screens. Makes things look great on the CRTs. But the thing I've actually sort of noticed the most is how good it sounds on a proper sound system. I've got on my telly in the other room. My telly in the other room is fucked, by the way. It's still got that bar, and it started turning off whenever I want to use the smart features. I've got a feeling because I'd hooked up the sound bar to the using a digital optical cable, which I've had for a while, and I think there's a fault there somewhere because it kept any time I wanted to use the smart features, it kept turning off. It's like really getting my tits. And I was thinking I might have to get a new telly, because up until now I thought I've just lived with that horrible dark shadow at the bottom of the screen. But it feels like my telly is actually shutting down. I think it's about 8 or 9 years old. But yeah, so yeah, this I hooked up my Mega Drive. So it's an LED, Samsung LED from 2013. Yeah, hooked up my Mega Drive to this, and I've got a sound bar with a subwoofer, a big chunky subwoofer, and it sounded astounding. It was a Mega Drive game. I'm not going to tell you what game it was because that's coming up in a minute. And it sounded amazing. Probably the best I've ever heard a Mega Drive game sound. It was just with the bass. It was just really resonated. I've never heard a Mega Drive game sound like that. It was amazing. It was just, and this was all from just bit of cable. It's probably pretty expensive for what they are for cables. You have to really care about that sort of thing. But I treated myself. And what it does slightly annoy me about, and generally I can't, I always recommend these. What slightly irritates me about them is how much they charge for postage and how long it takes. They charge £6, and it takes about a week. If I'm paying £6 for something, I want it in the next couple of days. But then that's just me. I've come to realise that when it comes to this specialist stuff, people have to accept they're going to wait for it. There's something else coming up, which basically, ties into that same idea. But I'm just not used to it. I know people who buy, pre-order sort of, specialist Mega Drive or new Mega Drive games and things like that, and these just generally special consoles are willing to wait months or years for their stuff. Whereas me, I want mine the next day, especially if I'm paying £6 for it. But other than that, I can't. But I always recommend these anyway. A couple of charity shop purchases. I think it was 50p. This is a trader because of that PS4. Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Not 50p. £2, £1.99. Skate 3. Skate 2 is the better one, isn't it? Skate 2 will get you more credit, but again, this is a trader. I've got a 360, so I could keep this, but I probably won't. I haven't got any skateboard games, so as a rule, I like to cover all bases. Oh fucking hell! Look at how. It really fucking gets my tits when it does that. I keep forgetting it does that. My screensaver kicked in. So every time it happens, it carries on recording, but my face goes like that. I sort of shit my pants because I don't really know what's going momentarily, but then I remember what happens. So I have to keep moving the mouse around. Where was I? Yeah, Skate 3. Yeah. I do like to cover all bases when it comes to my sort of catalogue of games for each console. I don't like to concentrate too much on my own tastes. I like to have, cover all bases, so to speak. But generally it will be a trader. From the same place where I got the guides from to PS1 games, this one was £1. You will see how they individually price things. 2 PS1 games, £1 for. I've got Worms. I remembered this time. I've got Worms. So £1 for Worms. But this is for the case because the case is shiny, really nice case. No cracks or anything in it. So this will be a donor case. This one, another donor case, but I paid a bit more for it. But you'll see why. It's a game I don't have, so that helps me decide how much, if I was going to pay the going rate, what they wanted. But it's a game called Dark Light Conflict, and as you can see, it's one of the ones without the hologram. So I've got a game for this case. I'm going to put it with my Mega Man X3, because I think this is a really, look, again, almost spotless case. And the game itself, it's not a bit of a poor Colony Wars clone, I think. But as a rule, £4. So they individually priced stuff, £4. And in the end, I went with it because I like the case. I haven't got the game. The game's a keeper. It's not like it's a bog standard sort of general sports game or dance game or whatever, or one of those sorts of. It's not Mary Kate and Ashley. It's something different than that. It's me. Hello. But it's not much of a game. It's a bit of a rough, like I said, a bit of a rough Colony Wars clone. But you can play there's levels where you play sort of like a gun turret, and you basically, I quite like that sort of that variation. But as a rule, it's a bit rough. You know, I'm guessing there are people out there who do like it. You know, interested to hear their opinions. But more for the case. You know, Dark Light Conflict. This one, there is a couple of charity shop ones, but generally as a rule, it's other stuff I've got from other places now. This one was a CX purchase. I'm basically correcting CX's fault. CX screwed up, to put it that way. I had a game. I took it in for resurfacing. Going back a couple of years now, I took it in for resurfacing. That's Walker Texas Ranger. So I just got distracted. Yeah, I took this game in for resurfacing, PS2 game, and in one of my favourite branches of Computer Exchange, and good bunch in there. And we were having a chat, and they took the case and the disc away to put it in their machine, and I saw after a while sort of a bit of discussion between the manager and the bloke serving me, and I go, have some of my lovely cycling up. Yeah, so they went away, having a bit of a chat, and he came back, and the manager goes, "Oh yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry paying. You don't have to worry about paying. We'll just do this for free." I was thinking, "Oh, what a nice bunch! What a nice bunch!" Yeah, but then little did I know, I got it home and I checked the disc, and there's a whacking great top scratch on it. Now, ordinarily, I don't think I really knew how chronic top scratches were until I started watching Sick Cooper with his game shop, and he knows all about top scratches and sort of how technically they're basically like a death knell for a particular game if you've got a top scratch. This is an absolute killer. It's like that and really obvious, and you hold it up to the light and you can see the light through it. So it's obviously the disc's dead. And I found that out afterwards, and I don't know if that top scratch was already there or if CX did it, or if CX knew that they'd done it, or if they suspected it might have already been there. Either way, I've got a feeling they thought they might have been responsible for this top scratch. So as a matter of goodwill, they gave me the disc clean for free. It still works up to what I've played. I'm guessing it gets to the point where it stopped working. But they gave it to me for free as a gesture of goodwill. But they didn't really tell me about the scratch. So I think they were sort of skirted around it. I came away not really understanding what it was all about. But so basically, their price came right down to a really, really reasonable price. It's a lot cheaper than you get it on eBay, and a lot cheaper than I only wanted a replacement disc, and I've been waiting all this time for a replacement disc, and they're all, I don't know, way more than I wanted to pay. But it's Silpheed, and CX had it for £5, so £5 for Silpheed. So This case is fucked. It's coming from World of Books. There, that's a World of Books sticker. World of Books have put their sticker over a game sticker. So that's sneaky. Generally, yeah, so I think this is the original. No, actually, no, I have swapped over. This is my disc. I don't know if you can see that. There you go, you can see it there, look. There. Now, I don't know if CEX did that, or if they know they did it, or if they suspect they might have done it. Either way, I've had to replace the disc. But I'm not holding it against them much. Generally, now I've got a good quality copy of Sylphied. This will probably end up in a charity shop. But because my one's a blue label, a black label, hasn't got the horrible yellow border. Right. Amazon purchase, basically an upgrade on a recent different Amazon purchase. Copy of Sly. Yeah, I bought a copy of Sly. You might see a slight fault with this one. I bought a copy of Sly, Steel Lancer Arena International, going back a month, I think. Well, it was in my last pickups video. That was a German copy, and that was about a £5, so a bit of a bargain. But this popped up on Amazon. I think it was, again, that was like We Buy Books or We Sell Games or something. It was about 17 quid. So I thought, that's worth it because it doesn't pop up on eBay much. And when it does, people assume it's worth 40, 50 quid and I'm not going to pay that. So I thought 17 quid is not bad. And often before Christmas, I'm feeling a bit like, generous, and I sort of pre-Christmas stress, I think it is. It means I treat myself quite often, and this is one of those cases. So yeah, and it's a British version. That's the thing. That's what was different. So it's a British version. So the only downside is, as you can see, it's not bad water damage. I think it's probably more atmospheric. It's been in a slightly damp atmosphere, and it's gone like that. I might be able to iron it. I don't know whether I can be bothered. Might end up destroying it more, but can I live with it? I don't know. Another Amazon purchase. Was it? Yeah, another Amazon purchase. I can't remember how much I paid for this. It was a bargain, I know that much, for what it is. Again, it's another one of these blind purchases. I don't think it was Momox. It was an Amazon purchase. One of these companies where they say, the only description you get is good or very good, one of those. I think a game's become more collectible now than it was. Who the fuck was the seller? I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, it was. I can't remember how much I paid for it. I might look it up and leave a little note on the screen. Or I don't think people are that bothered, are they? Either way, it was a bit of a bargain, and I think it turned up, and it's even better than I thought it was going to be, because this game comes with a couple of covers, and this is the less common cover. I think it's the original cover. I think there was a reissue of this game with a different cover. And it's 999. Was it 9 hours, 9 doors, 9 hours, 9 persons. 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. This is the original cover, I think, and it's all complete. All complete. There you go. It's legit as well. I really like the sound of this game. It's not massively into visual novels. I think it's just part visual novel, part sort of escape room puzzler. And it's meant to be really tense, and I really like the sound of it, and it's actually becoming quite collectible now, this game. I don't think there's much difference between the value between this and the other cover, but as a rule, I think this might be slightly more expensive, but yeah. How much was this? It might have been around about 20, 25 quid, I don't know. Again, I think this is probably pre-Christmas again, so I was feeling like I wanted to treat myself. But yeah. Not bad, right. Bit of a charity shop score. Randomly in one of my local charity shops, not that far away. Again, it's another charity shop that will individually price stuff from time to time. I went in there. I don't always really expect stuff because they've had a little stash of games sort of sitting in a tray below their DVD shelf for a long time, and it's all like, like Wii Fits and whatever, and sports games, and generally not worth having. But these appeared up with the CDs and DVDs, and one of them in particular is basically, I went, oh, and I turned into Uma Thurman in Kill Bill because my hand went. It was like the eye grab thing. That was like that quick. When you see something really good in the charity shop, I've seen it on videos. I watch charity shop hunting videos. If anytime anybody sees something really good, they just go, oh, straight to it like that. And that's pretty much what I did. And this one is a duplicate. This first one's a duplicate, so this is probably still definitely worth having. But again, might be for the case. It's £1, so probably more for the case. It might be an upgrade. I don't know how bad. I think my copy is pretty good. Wu-Tang Taste of the Pain. This used to be one of my go-to sort of hidden gems if I used to recommend games to people. But this is going back a good few years, and I've not played it in a while. And I'm thinking it probably hasn't aged quite as well. It probably doesn't quite live up to that sort of hidden gem recommendation type thing. I used to play at university a lot. I used to prefer it over Tekken 3 because I was stupid, and I could justify it. I like that. The way it felt like a sort of like a martial arts film. I like the sound effects. But so Wu-Tang Taste of the Pain is probably more for a case. It might be an upgrade, but again, it's one of those games. When you see them. Wasn't really going to leave it, even though it's a duplicate. This one definitely wasn't going to leave it. This isn't a duplicate. This is the one my grabby hand was in full sort of working order. It's £2 for Castle of Illusion and Quackshot double pack. Bingo, bargain. It's all there, and it's got the right manual as well. It's got the dual manual. The only slight defect. It's got a little rip there, tiny little rip, and also it doesn't have a hanging tab. But seriously, has anyone ever used a hanging tab? I know we all like to have hanging tabs, but anyone ever actually used one? I don't think they have. I don't ever remember them being used. Were they used? Hanging tabs? Did they get hung? I mean, I don't remember having to sort of like take stuff off, like hangers, just to get to a particular game I wanted. I mean, who uses hanging tabs? Perverts and psychopaths, that's who. So yeah, I saw this on the shelf. I thought, oh shit, nabbed it. And then I was out of the shop. I was gone down the road. I thought, oh, luckily. I think at that point, times like that, my instincts sort of kick in, and I think to myself, oh, let's get this, pay for it, get out of the shop before they realise their mistake. Generally. That's my reflex. I think, oh shit, let's get away, because I think that they're going to rumble me like I'm, And it's only afterwards I actually tweeted about it because I tweeted because this came the same day as that pile of Blu-rays. I tweeted about it, and I thought to myself, I should have asked them if they had any more. And then Rob, Champion 2D, goes, why don't you go back? I'm like, yeah, I'll go back. And I literally was going to go back. This was the day before New Year's Eve. I was going to go back. Then I thought I caught COVID with like this fucking bitch of a cold. I didn't. I did two tests. Both came back negative. But otherwise, I probably would have gone down there, at least checked, had a sneaky little inquiry. But I don't think they would have had any more. I think this was just a random one-off, but it's not a bad random one-off. But I can't help but think, oh yeah, he's right. I bet there's loads of stuff. When you make that sort of oversight, you can't help but your mind goes, oh, I bet they had things like, like Alien Soldier or something like that. But no, I'm happy. I'm chuffed. I don't know, my mind just kicks in like that. And it was afterwards. I thought to myself, because I was really chuffed. I walked down the street, yeah, sort of like had a bit of a kick in, like kick in my step. Is that the right word? Term. Anyway, I was like happy, and I thought to myself, it's a, don't get me wrong, it's a really quality like charity shop purchase. You know, one of the better ones. But maybe I felt happier than it maybe it deserved to be because I felt like really sort of like buzzy. You know, it's not like it's a sort of, I don't know, Castlevania Symphony of the Night or something. But I was that happy. But anyway, and I thought to myself, what's the key? The key is, if you're going around charity shops, thrifting, wherever in the world, the key is to set your expectations as low as they can go. Basically, have none. Get those expectations, set them as low as they can go. And if you do that, and every time you find anything, literally anything from the cheapest DVD upwards, it gives you a little bit of a kick, a little bit of a buzz, you know. And if you find something really good, like this, it maybe sort of gives you more of a buzz than it deserves to give you. But if you find something absolutely amazing, you would be like floating on air for weeks. There you go. That's the theory. I don't know if it'll play out like that, but I just know I got a bit of a buzz from finding this. This is the one I tested on my telly in the other room with the soundbar and subwoofer, and it just sounded amazing and like Castle of Illusions. It's like, wow, I've never heard a Mega Drive game sound as good. Right, two more games. This one was a Christmas present, basically, from my mum, from the old girl, but because she always asked me what I want for Christmas, and I can never make my mind up. I think this year I couldn't make my mind up. It went from lots of different things. You know, in the end, I was going to ask her for I wanted to make get a mitre saw so that I could start making my own game shelves. I've got this plan. I might mention it in a video one day, but I've got a plan, a mitre saw, one of those ones where you go. Don't get me wrong, they scare the shit out of me. You know, electric saws with big teeth. You know, I'll be pooing my pants every time I'm using it, but still. In the end, I didn't really know what I was buying, and I'd probably overpay for something. But in the end, it settled on this because this was something I knew I wanted. I knew the price was good, and in the end, I ended up having to buy it for myself and then give it to my mum to give back to me on Christmas Day. That's generally how it works. That happens quite often because I think she sort of I get something I want, and it takes the stress out for her and other people. Actually, I think generally it's easier if we all tell each other what we want. You know, she tells me what she wants. She got a bird bath this year. Got a bird bath, yeah. So Chubby wanted a bird bath, so I bought a bird bath. But this year, I bought this through Amazon. It's a PS1 game. If anyone's tried to buy PS1 games from Amazon, it's not very good. But this one, it was a Mega Man Legends 2. This is the most I've ever paid for a PS1 game. Or if you've ever tried to buy, sorry, I've got another drink. If anyone's ever tried to buy a PS1 game through Amazon, you probably know that there's one seller called Old School Gaming. Who've got crazy prices. It's happened again. Did my face go, ooh, again? Yeah. Old School Gaming. Itchy head. So, yeah, Old School Gaming's got crazy prices. Generally, everything's disc only. And the prices vary wildly from, very good disc to as new disc. And they can be like 50, 60, 100 quid variation, purely based on how good a disc is. And they're bizarre to the point, and they've been selling for years. And I can't imagine they ever sell anything. But just on this one occasion, I had this for a really good price, cheaper than on eBay. If you check how this much goes for on eBay, this was a good 20, 30 quid less, maybe even more. But it's more than I've ever paid for a PS1 game, or I didn't pay. The old girl paid. most of it. She didn't give me all of it. She said, I'll give you, it was, she gave me 100 quid towards it. I paid a little bit on top of that. But generally that's how it works with Christmas presents. I'll ask for stuff, this is a good price. It ticked all the boxes, it's a good price, but still more than I would generally pay for something myself. Apart from, I think, the slight variation on that theme was Mega Man 8. In the end, I just got frustrated, waiting for a copy of Mega Man 8. Ended up buying it for myself. But this is, generally as a rule, I won't pay that much. And this was, generally, my mum gave mine to it. That's how it works. So, yeah. And it's a really nice nick. I wasn't sure how it was going to turn up. I asked the guy for details. He sent me photos, and it looked a really nice nick. So I don't quite know how he works on Amazon, because it seems to be all over the place. But I can't fault him for this, because it's basically like, it said very good. I don't know what his other stuff's like, if this is very good, because I can't see anything wrong with it. But, absolutely fine. And this has gone up in price. I mean, there was a time I was going to be happy with an American version, but even the American version's gone up. I mean, the American version's sort of like 80 quid upwards. You look on eBay, they're like $100. So, in the end, I thought, fuck it. And I always miss out if they come up in CEX, and there's always a chance they're not going to be complete anyway. I've had one copy from CEX in the past, and it turned up without a manual. I think. Well, it had a fucked up manual, I can't remember. But yeah. Anyway, right, last one. This was going to be my Christmas present. This originally was my Christmas present, but it came clear it wasn't going to turn up in times. In the end, sort of, my mum says, what else do you want? And I went with that. But this one was going to be my Christmas present because I pre-ordered it back in August. Thanks to Pete on a Retro Tip. He made a video about it. It's a Mega Drive game. This is going back to the theme about me not really having patience or understanding how long you have to wait for these sorts of things. I ordered it in August. Second week in August. And it turned up. Was it before Christmas? I don't think it was before Christmas. No, it wasn't before Christmas. I think it turned up sometime in... Maybe it was before the New Year, I don't know. No, it was after the New Year, that was it, because I thought the Brexit fees were going to kick in because it came from France and I was going to have to pay import fees. I didn't. It just sort of turned up. I've got the box of Demons of Asterborg. And this is like such a top quality thing. It's just really, I really can't fault it. Pete made the game look great, and it does look great. And ever since I bought this, I've been looking at these other, I don't know what you call them, but they're not homebrews, are they? Whatever they are, these unofficial Mega Drive games. And some of them look good, but none of them really are no-brainers. And this was the one that really stood out as a no-brainer. And it's a stunning piece of work. And I started following their Twitter feed, and they were really good, actually, to be fair. They kept you up to date with where it was. Every time this sort of like they'd got a batch ready, they'd sort of tweet about what stage they were at. And they did that, and they said at one point, for August orders, we're at this stage. So, and it's a really quality, really stunning piece of work for what it is, and you get all these extras with it, and the game itself is amazing. It doesn't look like it should run on a Mega Drive, but it does somehow. But yeah, and it stood out. I've looked at on Pixel Heart and is it Retro Bit or whatever it is. I can't remember. No. Anyway, yeah. And all those other websites that sell all these unofficial Mega Drive games, none of them really look as flawless. I was looking at Stone Saviors? No, Stone something. A beat 'em up on one of them. It looks all right. It looks actually quite sophisticated. Lots of moves, but you never can tell. And then there was a couple of ones on Pixel Heart. And one of them was a turn-based RPG, and it looked good. But then I watched a couple of reviews, and and they put me off, and they're quite expensive. And again, this one was quite expensive, and again, this is actually, this isn't a keeper. Again, I've got to give this back to my mum, and she's going to give it to me for my birthday. So I've had a little test. That's as much as I'm going to. Now I kept it just for the purposes of this video because I wanted to go, oh, look what I've got. So yeah, it's a stunning piece of work. I just generally like the whole package because you get all these extras in it, you know, like stickers and manuals and whatever, and then it's got a reversible spine, and the game itself is pretty much, you know, this would have been an essential if this was an original Mega Drive release. This would have been one of those games that, you know, sold the console. But there you go. That's all my stuff. Not quite as long as the last video, but still a long video. So I'm going to let you go. Thanks for watching. And yeah, 2 thumbs up. See you later. Bye. There's probably something else that I've totally forgotten about. I was going to mention, but yeah. Don't buy this. It's horrible. And Brentwood can't make beer. Cheers.